So today we will discuss about how we can set up a REST API from a one instance to the third party tool. So here, what is the advantage of the integration? So that means, so if you are marking any changes, immediately the necessary changes you have to do it in. So what we can do it is we have to configure the same thing here. So that means if the any new incident is created, you are with the specific details, you want to create the same thing in the there, so that what we will do it is we will mark these changes for the same thing here. So that means here, for example, if you create any incident, so you want to create a same thing here, so that is a we will call it as a integration. Similarly, we can go to the rest. We can make the different concept for the APIs integration and all other things for the same. Now, what we have to do it here is the configuration here. The rest, if you want to configure rest configuration, first what happened? We need to create a user ID that we will call it as a service account, which is the user for the in the different instance. That means first we need to create a user ID. So as we know, right, uh, user ID, we know how to create a user ID. That means from here to there, and we can create you can grant him all the roles like web services web sorry, rest related role and web service admin role for that one. So role, so that means we need to create a user first. From that, the user has the complete access for the same thing here, which means the user has the table access. And which table we have to create it, you should have to able to create a table. And the same thing, the user should have all the rest API roles for the same thing here. So that is the one we have configured. And now if you want to go to the next one, so save it. And use case here, the use case is from select a table. From the table, from there to we need to configure the one thing. One here I'm just saying change request, but if you want to I have used the case table. So that means if a change request is, if a case is created in the service now instance with the specifics thing. And here the same thing, we need to configure the same thing here. Let's see how it will execute it. For example, first we have to create a user. So I have already created a user, which is a okay. So let's see here, right? The users. So here I just create a user called rest underscore rest dot user. So I just open this user, and this is the user I just created in the test instance. And so this is the user. Will have the same thing here. So for this one, I have granted the all the rest and roles to the one. So we can grant those roles on the web services so that it will be used it. The next thing, whenever if you have created a user and the login credentials, try to save this one. And always the best practice is you should create a login ID with the what is the purpose for the using for the same thing. So here what happened here, we have to use for the REST integration. So what we have to do it for the same thing here. Here since we are creating a REST integration, so here whatever we are giving it, uh, so the rest the best practice is always we can easily, when you see that name, we can easily remember the number account is which is used for the same thing. So I'm just using rest user, and that's fine. Once you have set up in here, next what we have to go, it is we have to go to the another system. We just share this username and password to them, and then again you just go to the rest message. So in the rest here we can see here rest. So here we have seen the rest message. Where is the rest message? Yes, here we have web services rest message. So in that rest message, what we have to configure it is, here we can configure rest message here, since I have already created the rest message. So this is the one we have created, but right now, no, this is not our account. So here what is one, and what is the name we are giving and description we are giving, and accessible from what was the application scopes. It should be a specific application scope, or it should be the same application scope. We can configure the same thing here. So now that is the one we can create the same thing. And before going to what, we just check what are the rest methods. If you go to the rest methods, we'll directly what you call the rest methods, we can directly check here on the Google only. See here in the rest there are different methods for there. So if you go to the any integration, we have different methods. In the rest, the main methods are the get, post, put, patch, and delete. The get method is used to retrieve the information from the third party. So that means whenever if you use a get, by using the integration, get method is used to get the information from the same thing. Now next method, post method. Post method is used to, is the most utilized it. It is a particular, it is used to create a subordinate resources. That means it will be a partial update on the record on the same thing here. Next, put is used to, oh sorry, post is nothing but to pass the information from here to there. Get is nothing but it should be get the information, get the record or something. Post is nothing but to pass the information for the same thing. Now next step is put. Put is used to update the capabilities. That means you can update the record. Mostly we can use the put method. And patch, patch is nothing but modify the same thing one. So the, and also here you can say it, it is not as safe for a put when you use the same thing, and patch is a safe for it, and delete is used to delete the record. These are the few basic things when you create one. Next one, what is the endpoint? Here you can see configuring rest message, configuring tests to CM, and endpoint. What is the endpoint here? The endpoint is what is the instance URL and what was the table name. Now that means the instance URL here, this is the one, and API slash now and table, and the one which table we are going to do it. If it is an incident, we can give incident. If it is a case, we can give the case for the same thing here. That is a one thing. And next one, we can see the authentication. How we were going to do the authentication for the same thing here, which means here authentication, it has a three types. That is a no authentication or basic or OAuth or all the stuff. So right now I'm just going no authentication. So if there is no authentication, we can do the same thing for it. And if you go to the basic, so what was the basic? We can create a basic. Here we can configure a basic authentication profile, which means what are the here. If you go here, for example, if I am selecting the REST user, what I did is the rest user, and what is the destination, the target's instance username and password will be, we can give here it was that is a rest dot user, and password, whatever the password you have given, we will enter, we can save that one, and we can pick the same thing, so that whenever if you are passing the information from D to there, first it will check the authentication for the same thing here. That is the one. And next one, HTTP request, I don't think we can add it one, so we can add it. And next one, the methods, what by if I create anyone, by default this get and put method, post method will become, get will be used to retrieve the information, and post will be used to send the information from here to there, the same thing here. So that is a one thing we can configure. And next one, if you go to the post, since we need to one post, if I open this one, so here also we can give the name, that means we can give any name, so which is used for our convenient. And next step, whatever, so here whatever we are configuring here, that's a basic thing. Now the next thing here, what, here is the endpoint. So what was the endpoint, we can give the same thing here. That means from there here to here, what was the endpoint for the same thing. And the authentication, if you see, if you want to any other specific, if inherit from parent is nothing but what, from the rest message we can do the for the same thing here. And next one, if you want that, or if you want no authentication, it doesn't have anything. If you want to base authentication, we can give the basic authentication, what was the profile, we need to calculate this one. And if you go to the OAuth authentication, we can, but OAuth we don't have setup for it, we cannot configure the same thing. So but the always mostly we can use it when you configuring a rest message. What we will do it is, we will do the what you called rest message for the same thing for here. So this is the basic thing how we can configure the same thing here. And next one here, if you go to the HTTP request, here what was the fields we need to pass the from here to there. Short description, we can write a short description. That means we are here, we are defining a variable short underscore description, and what is the value we have given. And next one, state, dev case number, and priority, and the sysid, which means here all the what are the fields we are passing here. So will be, that means what are the type of inputs, and once you have taken inputs and save this, just click on auto generate variables. That means the variables will be generated like this one, whatever you are written. So if I am going to write a priority, so this is the one, and you can see it. And if you want to, you can just test it, it will show the error codes. What is this 201? So HTTP status code, if you go to the it will come as some different tables. So if you go to the HTTPS status codes, so if you go to the HTTP status code, this is the most common asked interview question. The status code, see, 200 to 20299 is a successful, and 100 to 199 is informational, and 300 to 399 is a redirectional, and 400 to 400 499 is a client error response, and server error response 500 to 599. So this is the one. So 200 is okay, 201 created, 202 accepted, 202 authentication, sorry, accepted, and 203 authentication, sorry, non authoritative information. Like these are all will have the same thing for it. That's the one. You can check these all status codes later in the document. So that's the one. And now we have successfully we got a message. And next step what we have to write it is whatever we are generated here the method. So we will just preview script usage. Then what we will do is we will get the script here. We will get the script here. So then what we have to do for the script here, it will be continue for the same thing here. See, when you see this one, this is the script is generated, and you can just copy this all script here. And now you can go to the business tool and create a business tool. Now I'm just going to the case since we have to create a case here. So case here, and in that one, if I open this one, okay. So now I'm just going to writing a business tool. Right click, configure, go to the business tool to create a what we call integration. So what we are going to write it is so. I'm sorry, this is not. So I have just to create a business tool, and in that business tool, you just write a condition stating that when you have to and write a condition when we need to execute the same thing here. So here after if the state is new and assigned to his RPA user, then only this integration has to happen in the third party. So this is the condition we met it. And next one is the action. So no need and advanced. Here when come to the advanced, whatever the script we have copied here, you just try to copy and paste it here. So this is the one right where so whatever we have write it, so we can write the same thing here for the same thing. So now what happened? I think it's not copied. So here whatever okay whatever you have written, so we have copied the same script here. So here and try to save this one. And also if you want to, you can use a method mid server authentication. But right now we don't have any mid server setup. We cannot create the mid server. Now what I'm going to do it is now I'm just going to create a same. Now let's see how the case is created. So now I'm just going to create a new case with the condition. So order, so state is new, and I'm just going to assign this to RPA user, and this is for the test. So test, and I'm just going to save this one. Now if I save this one, the integration has to happen, and let's see how it will execute. See here, if I go to the, this is another third party system. See, just now the case is created, and okay, just now the case is created, and it was showing as a what it was showing here. So here, just now the case is created from the here, and it was showing as opened by is rest underscore user, as we use the same thing for it. So this is the basic thing how we can configure the thing from the REST API integration. I hope you got it or any confusion. So like that, we can copy the from information from one to the another. Later, I can have the document this one, so I can share this document. You can easily practice and prepare a same step. Okay, so you got it. The script this one, and next one we have another concept called the script API. That also I can share you the document. You can refer. The script REST API is also the same thing. Only the thing is we have to write this all. Everything is in the script concept. You can try to check this one, and you can get. I hope you got it, Pawan, or any confusion. Server, if you want to, you can use authentication. You can use it. But that should be mostly we can use it. But see here. Yeah, in the HTTP department, if you want to use any mid server for this, you can use this one. But we never use the mid server, right? That means we didn't configure the mid server, so we cannot use for the same thing. If you want to, we can use the same thing here. Okay, I hope got it or any confusion. This is how the integration will work. So this is how this REST API will be work for the same thing here. Just try to this one, and anything else, just let me know. We can discuss later. And this is the I think topic for the today. I will share this document